Tae-min wiped the sweat from his forehead as he checked the medical equipment for the third time that day. The machines hummed softly in the quiet medical bay of Meridian Gate, a massive space station that floated between 3 different star systems. He was just a medical technician, nothing special, and he liked it that way. His job was simple: keep the equipment running, stock the supplies, and stay out of the way when the real doctors worked. The station was always busy. Aliens from dozens of different species passed through every day. Some were traders, some were diplomats, and some were just travelers looking for a place to rest. Tae-min had seen many strange creatures during his 2 years here, but he still found himself amazed sometimes. The galaxy was far bigger and stranger than anything he had imagined back on Earth. A loud alarm suddenly blared through the medical bay. Tae-min jumped, nearly dropping the box of supplies he was carrying. Red lights flashed on the walls. His heart pounded as he heard voices shouting in the hallway outside. "Emergency docking! Clear the main bay!" someone yelled. Tae-min rushed to the window that looked out into the main medical area. Doctors and nurses ran in all directions, preparing equipment and clearing space. He had never seen them move so fast. Something terrible was happening. A sleek silver ship appeared outside the station's docking port. It was beautiful but damaged, with black marks across its hull. The design was Velon. Tae-min recognized. The Velon were one of the oldest and most powerful species in the galaxy. They looked almost human, but with translucent skin that showed the shimmer of their silver blood underneath. Their eyes were larger, completely black, and they moved with a grace that seemed impossible. The ship docked with a heavy thud. Moments later, the doors burst open. 6 Velon guards rushed in, carrying a floating medical pod between them. Behind them walked a tall Velon male wearing dark robes marked with golden symbols. His face showed no emotion, cold as ice. "Make way for Princess Yuri of House Velon," the robed figure commanded. His voice cut through the noise like a knife. Tae-min pressed closer to the window, watching as they brought the pod into the main medical area. Through the transparent top, he could see a young Velon woman lying motionless. Her skin, normally translucent and beautiful, was turning dark. Cracks spread across her arms and face like broken glass. Her silver blood had turned black in places, visible through her skin. "What happened?" Dr. Kim, the station's head physician, asked as he ran over. "Poison," the robed Velon said flatly. "Political enemies struck during the diplomatic summit on Vrax Prime. Our physicians have done everything possible, but nothing works. She has perhaps 4 hours remaining." Tae-min felt his stomach drop. 4 hours. This woman, this princess, was dying right in front of everyone. The Velon physicians began working immediately, hooking strange machines to the princess's pod. They moved with speed, but also with a certain coldness that bothered Tae-min. They spoke about her condition like she was a piece of broken equipment, not a living person. "If she dies, there will be war," the robed Velon said to Dr. Kim. "The Velon Empire will hold the Vraxian coalition responsible. Millions will die in the conflict. We'll do everything we can," Dr. Kim promised. But Tae-min could hear the doubt in his voice. Human medicine was still new to most aliens. What could they possibly do that the advanced Velon physicians could not? Tae-min should have gone back to his work. This was not his business. He was just a technician. But he could not look away from the dying princess. She looked so young, maybe close to his own age. Her face, even cracked and darkening, held a kind of beauty. More than that, she looked scared. Her eyes moved under closed eyelids, and her fingers twitched slightly. An hour passed. Then 2. The Velon physicians tried everything. They injected antidotes, filtered her blood, used radiation treatments that made Tae-min's scanner scream warnings. Nothing worked. The black stain spread further across her body. The cracks grew deeper. "There is nothing more we can do," one of the Velon physicians finally said. "The poison has bonded to her blood cells. It cannot be removed without killing her." The robed Velon, who Tae-min had heard others call Lord Vex, showed no sadness. He simply nodded. "Then we prepare for war. Send word to the Empire. Princess Yuri has fallen. Wait! Taemin did not realize he was speaking until everyone turned to look at him. His face burned red as dozens of eyes, human and alien, focused on him. I might have an idea. Lord Vex's black eyes fixed on him. Who are you? Taemin. I'm a medical technician here. I studied xenobiology in school. His voice shook, but he forced himself to continue. Human blood has adaptive proteins. I read a research paper about it last year. Our red blood cells can sometimes bond with alien cellular structures in unexpected ways. Dr. Kim shook his head. Taemin, that research was theoretical. It has never been tested, and human blood is completely incompatible with Valan physiology. It would kill her instantly. She is dying anyway. Taemin said quietly. He walked closer to the medical pod, looking down at Princess Yuri. Her skin was almost completely black now. Very little time remained. What do we have to lose? This is madness, Lord Vex said. You would contaminate the princess's noble blood with primitive human cells? I would try to save her life, Taemin replied. He surprised himself with his courage. Isn't that worth trying? Ambassador Nari, the senior human diplomat on the station, pushed through the crowd. She was a small woman but commanded respect. Taemin, do you understand what you're suggesting? If this goes wrong, if she dies because of human intervention, Earth could be held responsible. I understand. Taemin looked at the ambassador, then at Dr. Kim, then at Lord Vex. But I also understand that doing nothing guarantees her death. And war. Maybe we can prevent both. Silence filled the room. The machines monitoring Princess Yuri beeped steadily, counting down her remaining time. Lord Vex studied Taemin with those cold, dark eyes. Finally, he spoke. Very well. Proceed. If she dies, her blood is on your hands. Human. If she dies trying, Taemin said. That's better than dying without hope. Dr. Kim quickly prepared the equipment. This is against every protocol I know. But he's right. We have nothing to lose. He looked at Taemin seriously. This will take a lot of blood. You might not survive giving this much. Then we'd better get started, Taemin said. He lay down on the medical bed next to the princess's pod. A nurse prepared his arm, finding the vein. As the needle slid into his skin and his blood began to flow through the tubes toward the dying alien princess, Taemin wondered if he had just made the bravest or stupidest decision of his life. All he knew was that someone needed help, and he had to try. The machines hummed, the blood flowed, and everyone watched, waiting to see if a simple human technician could do what the galaxy's best physicians could not. Taemin's vision blurred as the blood drained from his body. The room spun slowly, and voices around him became distant and echoed. He could hear the steady beep of machines and the worried murmurs of the medical staff. But everything felt far away, like he was underwater. His blood pressure is dropping too fast, a nurse said urgently. We need to stop. No. Taemin managed to whisper. Keep going. Just a little more. Dr. Kim looked torn. Taemin, you've already given more than is safe. If we take any more... She needs it, Taemin interrupted, his voice weak but determined. I can feel it. Just a little more. Through his fading consciousness, Taemin watched the tubes carrying his bright red blood into the princess's medical pod. The contrast was stark. His blood so red, hers so silver and black. It should not work. Every scientific principle said this would fail. Human and Valan biology were completely different, evolved on worlds thousands of light years apart. But something strange was happening. The black stain in Princess Yuri's blood began to change. Where Taemin's red blood mixed with her silver, tiny sparks of light appeared, like stars being born. The Valan physicians gasped, pressing closer to their scanning equipment. Impossible, one of them breathed. The human cells are bonding with hers. They are not rejecting each other. They are combining. Lord Vex stepped forward, his cold expression cracking slightly to show shock. What sorcery is this? Not sorcery, Dr. Kim said, his voice filled with wonder as he watched his own monitors. Biology. Incredible. Impossible biology. The cracks in Princess Yuri's skin began to heal. Slowly, at first. Then, faster. The black poison was being pushed out, absorbed or destroyed by something in the hybrid blood now flowing through her veins. Her skin started to clear, returning to its normal translucent state. But now, faint red patterns appeared beneath the surface, like delicate veins of crimson light. Her vital signs are stabilizing, a Velan physician reported, his voice shaking with disbelief. Heart rate normalizing. Brain activity increasing. The poison is being neutralized. Taemin smiled weakly before his eyes closed. He had done it. She would live. The thought brought him peace as darkness claimed him. He woke to bright lights and a terrible headache. His entire body felt heavy and cold. Someone was holding his hand. Easy, Ambassador Nari said gently. Don't try to move too quickly. You nearly died, you foolish, brave young man. Taemin blinked slowly, letting his eyes adjust. He was in a recovery room. Medical equipment surrounded his bed, monitoring his condition. His arm hurt where they had taken the blood. The princess? He asked, his throat dry. Nari smiled. Alive. You did it. Against all logic and science. You saved her life. Relief flooded through Taemin, and tears came to his eyes. He had not been sure it would work. He had just hoped, and that hope had been enough. There's something else, Nari continued, her expression becoming more serious. Something unexpected happened. The doctors want to talk to you about it when you're stronger. Before Taemin could ask what she meant, the door opened. A Velan woman entered, moving slowly and carefully. Taemin's breath caught. Princess Yuri looked different from when she had been dying. Her skin was healthy and translucent again. But those red patterns remained, swirling beneath her surface like rivers of light. Her black eyes found his, and she stopped, staring at him with an expression he could not read. You are awake, she said softly. Her voice was beautiful, musical like wind chimes. You should be resting, Lord Vex said sharply, appearing behind her. This is not proper. Proper? Princess Yuri turned to him, and Taemin saw fire in her eyes that had not been there before. This human saved my life. When all of our finest physicians declared me dead, I will speak with him if I wish. Lord Vex's jaw tightened, but he said nothing more. He simply stood in the doorway like a dark statue. Princess Yuri moved closer to Taemin's bed. I do not know how to thank you. In my culture, we do not have words for what you did. You gave your life essence to a stranger, to someone from a different world. Why? Taemin thought about it. Because you needed help, he said simply. And I could help. That seemed like enough reason. She looked at him with wonder, as if he had said something profound. In the Velan Empire, we are taught that other species are lesser, that humans especially are primitive and driven by base emotions. But you, she touched her chest, where her heart beat. You gave everything for someone you did not know. That is not primitive. That is beautiful. Warmth spread through Taemin's chest, and he saw Princess Yuri's eyes widen. Did you feel that? She asked quietly. Feel what? Your emotion. I felt it, like a warmth in my heart. She looked frightened and amazed at the same time. Dr. Kim entered the room, carrying a data pad. Ah. You're both awake. Good. We need to discuss something important. He looked between them seriously. The transfusion created an unexpected side effect. Your blood is now permanently mixed. Princess Yuri has human cells throughout her body, and Taemin, you have some of her Velan cells in yours. What does that mean? Taemin asked. It means several things. First, Princess Yuri, your body has changed. You are stronger now, more resistant to temperature changes, and you heal faster than any Velan we've ever seen. The human adaptability has enhanced your physiology. Princess Yuri looked at her hands, flexing her fingers. I do feel different. Stronger. And warmer. I never felt warm before. There's something else, Doctor. Kim continued carefully. You two appear to share an emotional connection. A bond. When one of you feels a strong emotion, the other can sense it. We're not sure if this is permanent or temporary, but it's there. Lord Vex made a disgusted sound. Contamination. The princess has been contaminated with inferior genetics. This is a disaster. This is a miracle, Princess Yuri said firmly, surprising everyone. I was dead. Now I live. I was weak. Now I am strong. How is this contamination? You carry alien blood, Lord Vex said coldly. The noble houses will never accept this. They will demand purification, even if it kills you. Lord Vex said. Lord Vex. Then they are fools, Princess Yuri replied. She looked at Taemin again, and he felt a wave of gratitude wash over him through their bond. I will not reject this gift. I will not reject what has made me stronger. Over the next few days, news of the miracle spread throughout Meridian Gate. Then beyond, to the wider galaxy. Scientists from a dozen different species came to study Taemin and Princess Yuri. The Velan Empire sent more ships, some carrying physicians who wanted to help, others carrying officials who wanted to take the princess home. Taemin recovered his strength slowly. Each day, he felt the bond with Princess Yuri growing stronger. He could sense when she was happy, when she was frustrated, when she was afraid, and she could feel him too. It was strange and intimate in a way that made him uncomfortable at first, but also strangely comforting. He was never truly alone anymore. Princess Yuri visited him every day, against Lord Vex's protests. She asked him questions about Earth, about human culture, about everything. She was curious in a way that seemed new to her, as if the human blood had awakened something that had been sleeping. We are taught not to feel too much, she explained one evening as they sat together in the medical bay garden. Emotions are considered weakness in Velan society. But now I feel everything. And I do not think it is weakness. I think it is life. Emotions can be difficult, Taemin admitted. But they're also what makes life worth living. She smiled at him, and he felt her happiness through the bond. It made him smile too. The news spread like fire across the galaxy. Every major news network showed footage of Princess Yuri walking through Meridian Gate, healthy and alive, with those strange red patterns glowing beneath her translucent skin. They showed Taemin, the ordinary human technician who had done the impossible. And they showed the question that everyone was asking. What else could human blood do? Taemin's life changed overnight. He could not walk through the station without being recognized. Some people wanted to thank him. Some wanted his autograph. Some just wanted to stare at the human who had saved an alien princess. He hated the attention. He just wanted to go back to his quiet life, fixing medical equipment. But the galaxy had other plans. A week after the transfusion, a new ship arrived at Meridian Gate. It was massive and covered in weapons. The design was Kryn, a warrior species known throughout the galaxy for their brutal efficiency in combat. Taemin watched nervously from the station's observation deck as the ship docked. They're here for you, Ambassador Nari said quietly, standing beside him. Or more specifically, for what you represent. I don't understand, Taemin said. I'm nobody. I just help someone. You proved that human biology can do something no one thought possible. The Kryn want that power for themselves. They want human blood to make their soldiers stronger, harder to kill. Taemin felt sick. That's not what this is about. I didn't do this to create weapons. I know. But that doesn't matter to them. General Krath, the Kryn commander, demanded a meeting with station leadership. Taemin was required to attend. He sat in the conference room with Ambassador Nari on one side and Princess Yuri on the other. Lord Vex sat across from them, his expression unreadable. General Krath was huge, nearly 7 feet tall, with gray-scaled skin and yellow eyes that burned with intensity. "I will be direct," General Krath said, his voice like grinding rocks. "The Kryn Collective wants human blood samples. We want to study this adaptive property. We will pay well. Human blood is not for sale," Ambassador Nari said firmly. "Especially not for military purposes. Everything is for sale at the right price," General Krath replied. He turned his yellow eyes to Tae-min. "You, human. Name your price. What do you want in exchange for your cooperation?" "Nothing," Tae-min said. "I won't help you turn my blood into a weapon." General Krath's face darkened. "You dare refuse the Kryn Collective?" "I dare," Tae-min said, his voice shaking but steady. Through the bond, he felt Princess Yuri's pride and support. It gave him strength. The meeting ended badly. General Krath left with threats barely concealed behind diplomatic words. As the Kryn ship remained docked at the station, Tae-min felt like a prisoner in his own home. New arrivals came every day. A brilliant human scientist named Dr. Hae-won came from Earth specifically to study the phenomenon. She was kind and excited, treating Tae-min like a person rather than a specimen, which he appreciated. She ran tests on both him and Princess Yuri, trying to understand exactly what had happened. "This is remarkable," Dr. Hae-won said one afternoon, showing them holographic images of blood cells. Human red blood cells contain proteins that can adapt and bond with alien cellular structures. But it's more than that. Your DNA, Tae-min, contains sequences we've never fully understood. Until now. "What do you mean?" Princess Yuri asked. Dr. Hae-won pulled up another image, this one showing complex genetic patterns. "I've compared human DNA to samples from 40 different species. We all have certain base genetic sequences that are identical. It's as if all life in the galaxy came from the same source, billions of years ago." "The precursor theory," Lord Vex said quietly. Everyone turned to look at him. "An old legend. It says that an ancient race seeded life across the galaxies, then disappeared. Most consider it a myth." "Maybe not a myth, Doctor," Hae-won said. "What if humans are the closest genetic descendants of these precursors? What if human DNA contains dormant keys that can unlock potential in other species?" The implications hit Tae-min like a physical blow. If this was true, humans were not just another species in the galaxy. They were something special, something unique, and that made them incredibly valuable and incredibly dangerous to those in power. That night, Tae-min could not sleep. He walked through the quiet corridors of the station, trying to process everything. He ended up in the observation deck, staring out at the stars. "You feel troubled," Princess Yuri's voice came from behind him. "I can sense it through our bond." Tae-min turned to see her approaching. She wore simple clothes now instead of her royal robes, and she moved with a confidence she had not had when they first met. "I didn't ask for any of this," Tae-min said. "I just wanted to help you. Now everyone wants something from me. The Kryn want my blood for weapons. Scientists want to study me. Politicians want to use me as a symbol. I just want to be normal again." Princess Yuri stood beside him, looking out at the stars. "I understand. I was born a princess. I never had a choice about my role in life. Every decision was made for me, every path chosen before I could walk it. But now," she touched her chest, where the red patterns swirled beneath her skin. "Now I am something new. Something that my people do not understand, and many of them fear. We are both changed, Tae-min, and we cannot go back." "Do you regret it?" Tae-min asked. "The transfusion, the changes, all of it?" "No," she said firmly. She turned to face him, and their eyes met. "You gave me life. You gave me feelings I never knew existed. You gave me a choice about my own future. How could I regret any of that?" Tae-min felt her sincerity through the bond, warm and true. Without thinking, he reached out and took her hand. Her skin was cool and smooth, but where they touched, he felt warmth spreading between them. Princess Yuri gasped softly. "I feel that," she whispered. Is that what humans call affection? Yes, Taemin said, his heart racing. I think it is. They stood there together, holding hands, two beings from different worlds connected by blood and something deeper. It was a peaceful moment. But peace never lasts long. Alarms suddenly blared throughout the station. Red emergency lights flashed. A voice came over the speakers. Security alert. Intruders detected in residential section. All personnel take shelter. Taemin and Princess Yuri ran toward the residential section, ignoring the warnings to stay back. When they arrived, they found chaos. Armed figures in dark armor were fighting with station security. One of them saw Taemin and pointed. There, the human. Capture him. Princess Yuri stepped in front of Taemin without hesitation. You will not touch him. The attacker laughed. A Valan princess protecting a human? You have become weak. Fallen one. House Valan sent us to correct this mistake. Understanding hit Taemin like ice water. These were not random attackers. They were Valan assassins, sent by the traditionalist faction that wanted Princess Yuri dead, rather than contaminated. The lead assassin raised his weapon, but Princess Yuri moved faster than any Valan should be able to move. Her hybrid blood gave her speed and strength beyond her species. She struck the assassin's weapon away and punched him hard enough to send him flying backward. The other assassins attacked together, but Princess Yuri fought like nothing Taemin had ever seen. She was graceful, but fierce, using abilities she had never had before. Her hybrid blood made her stronger, faster, more adaptable. She protected Taemin while station security fought the other intruders. When the fight ended, 5 assassins lay unconscious on the floor. Princess Yuri stood over them, breathing hard, her eyes blazing with anger and determination. She looked at Taemin, and through their bond, he felt her fierce protectiveness, her anger at those who would hurt him. And underneath it all, something deeper and more powerful growing between them. They came to kill me because I am different now, Princess Yuri said. Because I carry your blood, and it makes me stronger. Because I feel emotions they consider weakness. She turned to face the unconscious assassins. But they are wrong. This is not weakness. This is strength. The assassination attempt changed everything. Within hours, 3 more ships arrived at Meridian Gate. One carried Taemin's younger sister, Bo-Ra, a shuttle pilot who had demanded to come protect her brother. One carried representatives from the Galactic Council, called to emergency session, and one carried more Valan warriors, split between those loyal to Princess Yuri and those loyal to the traditionalist faction. The station felt like a powder keg ready to explode. Taemin sat in a locked conference room with Bo-Ra, who had her arms crossed and fire in her eyes. She was 2 years younger than him but far more fierce. You should have called me sooner, she said angrily. I had to hear from the news that someone tried to kill my brother. Everything happened so fast, Taemin said tiredly. I didn't want to worry you. Too late for that. Bo-Ra looked at him seriously. This is bigger than you realize, Taemin. Earth's government is calling this a diplomatic crisis. Half the galaxy wants to use you, and the other half wants you dead. You need protection. I have protection, Taemin said, thinking of Princess Yuri. Bo-Ra raised an eyebrow. The alien princess? I saw the footage of the fight. She's impressive. But can you trust her? Her own people tried to kill her. I trust her more than anyone, Taemin said firmly. Through the bond, he could feel Princess Yuri somewhere else in the station. And her presence was a constant comfort. She's not like the others. Before Bo-Ra could respond, Ambassador Na-Ri entered the room with Dr. Hae-Won. Both women looked stressed and worried. The Galactic Council is convening in 1 hour, Na-Ri said. They're going to decide humanity's fate. Some species want to offer us full alliance. Others want to quarantine Earth until we can be studied and controlled. They can't do that, Bo-Ra said angrily. They can. Dr. Hae-Won said grimly. If enough council members vote for it, Earth could be isolated from the rest of the galaxy. No trade, No travel, no contact. Tae-min felt sick. His attempt to save one life might doom his entire species to isolation. What can we do? We present our case, Nari said. We show them that humanity can be trusted, that we're not a threat. But before they could plan further, explosions rocked the station. The walls shook, and alarms screamed. Through the windows, Tae-min saw flashes of weapons fire in space. Ships were attacking Meridian Gate. "It's the Kryn!" someone shouted over the intercom. "General Krath's fleet is firing on the station. They're trying to board." Chaos erupted. Security forces mobilized. Civilians ran for shelter. Tae-min and Bora were rushed to a secure bunker, along with other important personnel. Through it all, Tae-min could feel Princess Yuri's emotions through the bond: determination, anger, and fierce protectiveness. In the bunker, they watched monitors showing the battle outside. General Krath's fleet had brought massive warships, far more than needed for a simple attack. They wanted to take the station by force and capture humans for their experiments. But the Kryn were not the only ones attacking. A fleet of Velen traditionalist ships appeared, declaring they had come to retrieve Princess Yuri for purification. The two fleets began firing on each other as well as the station, turning the space around Meridian Gate into a battlefield. "We're outnumbered," a security officer said grimly. "Station defenses can't hold against both fleets." Quote, through the monitor, Tae-min saw human defense ships arriving, but they were few compared to the enemy forces. Earth's military presence in deep space was still small and weak. Then Princess Yuri's face appeared on the communication screen. She was in the station's command center, and behind her, Tae-min could see both human and loyal Velan forces. "Tae-min," she said, her voice steady and strong. "I am going to broadcast a message to all ships. I want you to hear it first." "Yuri, what are you doing?" he asked. "What I should have done from the beginning, taking control of my own fate." She smiled at him through the screen, and he felt her love through the bond, clear and powerful. "Thank you for showing me what it means to choose." The screen changed to show Princess Yuri's face being broadcast on all channels. Every ship in the area, every species, every faction saw her as she began to speak. "I am Princess Yuri of House Velan," she said. "I address all who can hear me. 10 days ago, I was dying, poisoned by political enemies, abandoned by our finest physicians. A human named Tae-min, a simple medical technician with no power and no fame, gave his own blood to save my life. He did not know if it would work. He did not know if he would survive. He only knew that someone needed help, and he could try to help them." On the monitors, Tae-min saw some ships hesitating, their weapons powering down slightly to listen. "His blood changed me," Princess Yuri continued. "It made me stronger, faster, more alive than I have ever been. Some call this contamination. They say I am impure, that I should be destroyed rather than accepted, but I say they are wrong. This is not contamination. This is evolution." She stood taller, and the red patterns beneath her skin glowed brighter. "I am proof that different species can work together, can share, can become more than they were alone. And I ask you now, if one human's compassion can save a life and prevent a war, what could we accomplish if we worked together instead of fighting?" General Krath's face appeared on another screen. "Empty words. The Kryn take what we need. Then you are fools," Princess Yuri said coldly, "because you will never take what could be freely given." Before anyone could respond, more ships appeared from jump space. The peaceful Lumari species, glowing beings of light and energy, arrived with their fleet. They positioned themselves between Meridian Gate and the attackers. "The Lumari stand with humanity," their leader broadcast. "We will not allow this aggression." More ships appeared. Species that Tae-min barely recognized, some that had been quiet observers until now. They formed a protective wall around the station. The tide was turning, but General Krath was not finished. "If we cannot have the station, we will destroy it." His fleet launched a massive salvo of missiles toward Meridian Gate. Princess Yuri's voice cut through the panic. Bo-Ra, I know you are a pilot. I need you. In the bunker, Bo-Ra jumped up. Tell me what to do. Through the screens, they watched as Princess Yuri coordinated a desperate defense. She directed station weapons with precision, her hybrid mind processing information faster than any normal Villan. She identified weak points in the enemy formations and sent targeting data to allied ships. Bo-Ra ran to the shuttle bay and launched in a small, fast ship. Taemin watched in horror as his sister flew directly into the missile swarm, weaving between explosions with impossible skill. She drew the missiles away from the station, leading them on a chase through the debris field. She's crazy, someone shouted. She's brilliant, Dr. Hae-won corrected, watching the tactical display. She's using the debris to make the missiles collide with each other. It worked. Bo-Ra's piloting destroyed most of the missiles, and station defenses took care of the rest. The Kryn fleet, seeing their advantage disappearing and facing growing opposition, began to retreat. The Villan traditionalist fleet was not so quick to give up. They launched boarding parties, trying to reach Princess Yuri by force. Taemin could not stay in the bunker while she was in danger. He ran from the secure room, ignoring the guards' shouts. He found Princess Yuri in the command center, surrounded by loyal guards and fighting off traditionalist warriors. She moved like lightning, her hybrid strength making her unstoppable. But there were so many enemies. Taemin picked up a dropped weapon, not even sure how to use it, but determined to help. One of the attackers saw him and charged. Taemin fired wildly, missing completely, but Princess Yuri felt his danger through the bond. She turned and threw one of the enemies into Taemin's attacker, saving him. Their eyes met across the chaotic battlefield. Through the bond, they shared a moment of perfect understanding. They would fight together. They would survive together. The battle raged for hours. But slowly, the tide turned. The Allied fleet pushed back the attackers. The boarding parties were defeated, and finally, exhausted and bloodied but alive, the defenders of Meridian Gate stood victorious. As the last enemy ship retreated, Princess Yuri collapsed. Taemin caught her, holding her close. She was alive, just exhausted. We did it, she whispered. We showed them. Taemin held her, feeling her heartbeat against his chest. Around them, humans and aliens worked together to repair damage and help the wounded. The galaxy had witnessed something new today. Not human superiority, but human cooperation. Not dominance, but partnership. The Galactic Council convened 3 days after the battle. The Great Chamber on the neutral world of Nexus Prime was filled with representatives from hundreds of species. Taemin stood with Ambassador Nari and Dr. Hae-won, feeling small and out of place among such powerful beings. Princess Yuri stood with them, having been granted special permission to attend, despite the protests from some Villan delegates. The chamber was enormous, with floating platforms for each species arranged in a circle around the central speaking platform. Holographic displays showed images from the battle at Meridian Gate, the footage of Princess Yuri's transformation, and data about human biology. The council leader, an ancient being called Speaker Moth from the insectoid Clith species, called the session to order. Her voice resonated through the chamber like bells. We are here to decide humanity's place in the galaxy, Speaker Moth said. Before the vote, all sides will be heard. General Krath stood first, his massive form imposing even on the holographic display. The Kryn Collective believes humanity should be quarantined. Their biology is too dangerous, too unpredictable. They could destabilize the balance of power that has kept peace for 10,000 years. Murmurs of agreement came from several delegations, mostly military powers, who feared losing their advantage. Lord Vex stood next, and Taemin tensed. The Villan advisor's face was cold and composed. The Villan Empire recognizes that what happened to Princess Yuri was extraordinary. But extraordinary does not mean safe. We propose controlled study of human biology under strict galactic oversight. Humans should be allowed limited contact but not full membership until we understand what they truly are. More species voiced support. The mood in the chamber felt hostile. Taemin's hands shook. He had never wanted this. He had just wanted to help someone. Then Princess Yuri stepped forward onto the central platform. The chamber fell silent. She looked different from the dying woman Taemin had first seen. She stood tall and strong, the red patterns beneath her skin glowing softly. She was beautiful and powerful, and every eye in the chamber focused on her. "I am Princess Yuri of House Valan," she said clearly. "I speak not as royalty, but as someone who has experienced both sides of this debate. I was raised to believe that other species were inferior, that Valan were superior in every way, that emotions were weakness and tradition was strength." She paused, looking directly at the camera that showed her face across the galaxy. "I was wrong. My people were wrong. When I was dying, our advanced medicine could not save me. Our brilliant physicians failed. Our proud tradition offered only death and war. But one human, armed only with compassion and hope, did what our entire empire could not." She touched her chest, where her heart beat with its new hybrid rhythm. "Taemin gave me more than his blood. He gave me a choice. He showed me that strength can come from helping others, not conquering them. That different does not mean inferior. That change is not always destruction." The chamber remained silent, listening. "You fear humanity because they can change things," Princess Yuri continued. "Because they do not fit into the comfortable categories we have created over millennia. But I ask you, is comfort worth more than progress? Is fear worth more than possibility?" She gestured to the images floating around the chamber. During the battle at Meridian Gate, humans did not fight for dominance. They fought to protect others. When given the choice between safety and doing what was right, they chose right. Is that not exactly the kind of species we want in our galactic community? Speaker Moth leaned forward. "Princess Yuri, you are no longer fully Valan. Some would say you are contaminated and cannot be trusted to speak objectively." "I am exactly who should speak," Princess Yuri replied firmly. "Because I am proof that different species can not only coexist, but enhance each other. I am stronger now. I feel more deeply. I think more clearly. I am more alive than I ever was before. If this is contamination, then let us all be contaminated. I see. I can. I tuve one. I tuve one." The chamber erupted in arguments. Some species cheered, others protested loudly. Speaker Moth called for order. Dr. Hay-1 was given permission to present her findings. She showed the genetic data, explaining humanity's potential connection to the ancient precursors. She demonstrated how human adaptive proteins could revolutionize medicine for dozens of species. She painted a picture of a future where species work together, sharing their strengths. But this can only work with cooperation. Dr. Hay-1 concluded. "If you quarantine humanity, you lose this opportunity. If you force us to share through violence, it will create weapons instead of cures. The choice is yours." Finally, Taemin was called to speak. He walked to the central platform, his legs shaking. Billions of beings across the galaxy were watching. He thought about everything that had happened since that moment in the medical bay when he had made his choice. "I am not a politician," Taemin said quietly. "I am not a scientist, or a soldier, or anyone important. I am just a medical technician who saw someone dying and wanted to help. I did not think about politics, or alliances, or the future of the galaxy. I just knew that I could try to save a life, and that seemed like reason enough." He looked at Princess Yuri, standing among the Valan delegation. Their eyes met, and through the bond, he felt her love and support. "Everyone is asking what humans want," Taemin continued. "What we will do with our abilities. But the real question is, what kind of galaxy do we all want to live in? One where we hide from each other in fear, or one where we help each other become better?" He took a deep breath. "I gave my blood to save Princess Yuri. I would do it again for anyone who needed help, regardless of their species. That is what humanity offers. Not weapons or power or conquest. Just the willingness to help, to try, to care." If that is too dangerous for the galaxy to accept, then maybe the problem is not with humanity. The chamber fell silent. Taemin stepped down, his heart pounding. The vote took 3 hours. Species argued, debated, and negotiated. Finally, Speaker Moth called for the final count. The Galactic Council has reached a decision. By a vote of 372 to 198, humanity is granted full membership in the galactic community. Taemin felt like he could breathe again. Beside him, Ambassador Nari wiped tears from her eyes. Dr. Haewon laughed with relief. Furthermore, Speaker Moth continued, the Council establishes the Meridian Accords, creating ethical guidelines for cross-species medical cooperation. Human biological samples may only be shared voluntarily and never weaponized. Dr. Haewon of Earth will lead the first interspecies medical institute. The chamber applauded, though not everyone looked happy. General Krath's delegation walked out in protest. Some Valan delegates did the same. But more stayed, and more still approached with interest and friendship. After the session, Taemin found Princess Yuri waiting outside the chamber. She smiled when she saw him, and that smile lit up her entire face. You did it, she said softly. We did it, Taemin corrected. He took her hand, not caring who saw. Together, Lord Vex approached, his expression unreadable. Princess Yuri, the Valan Emperor has sent word. He is abdicating his throne. He wants you to return home and lead the Empire into this new era. Princess Yuri looked shocked. Me? But I am changed. I am not pure Valan anymore. Exactly, Lord Vex said. There was something different in his voice now. Something that might have been respect. The Empire needs someone who understands both the old ways and the new, someone who can bridge the divide. He paused. I was wrong about you, about the human. I let fear and tradition blind me to possibility. Number. It was the closest to an apology Lord Vex would likely ever give. Princess Yuri nodded, accepting it. Will you come with me? She asked Taemin. To the Valan homeworld. The Empire needs to see that human and Valan can work together. And I. She hesitated, vulnerability showing on her face. I need you. Taemin smiled. Of course. We are bonded, remember? Where you go, I go. 5 years passed. Taemin stood in the Grand Meridian Medical Complex, watching through the windows as doctors from 20 different species worked together. Human physicians taught aliens about adaptive medicine. Valan scientists shared their advanced technology. Kryn warriors, reformed and peaceful, learned healing instead of fighting. The complex was built on Meridian Gate, now the largest research station in the galaxy. Hundreds of successful cross-species medical procedures had been performed here. Diseases that had plagued civilizations for millennia were being cured. Life expectancy was increasing across dozens of worlds. Dr. Haewon had won the Galactic Prize for Medicine. Bo-Ra had joined a multi-species peacekeeping force and was now captain of her own ship. Ambassador Nari represented Earth on the Galactic Council, respected and influential. And the Valan Empire had transformed. Under Empress Yuri's leadership, they had opened their borders, reformed their rigid social structure, and become one of humanity's strongest allies. Emotions were no longer seen as weakness, but as the foundation of meaningful progress. Taemin felt familiar arms wrap around him from behind. Princess Yuri, now Empress Yuri, rested her chin on his shoulder. In her arms, she carried their daughter, a beautiful child with translucent skin marked by natural red patterns. She was the first true human-Velan hybrid, born from love instead of desperation. Their daughter, whom they had named Hope, slept peacefully. She represented the future, a galaxy where species did not just coexist but truly united. Do you ever think about that day? Yuri asked softly. The day you gave your blood to a dying stranger? Taemin smiled, looking at the busy medical complex, at the doctors saving lives together, at the future they had helped create. Every day, I think about how scared I was, how uncertain, how I almost did not offer. But you did, Yuri said. She kissed his cheek gently. You saw someone who needed help, and you helped. One simple act of kindness changed everything. Through their bond, Taemin felt her love, her gratitude, and her hope for the future. He felt his daughter's peaceful contentment as she slept. He felt the connections between all the beings working together in the complex, different species united by a common goal to help others. He had been just a medical technician, nobody special, with nothing to offer but his own blood and his willingness to try. But sometimes, that was exactly what the galaxy needed, not grand gestures or powerful weapons or political maneuvering. Just one person seeing another person in need and choosing to help. That simple choice had created ripples that spread across the stars. And in the end, it was not the blood that had changed everything. It was the compassion behind the gift that had shocked everyone and shown them a better way forward. Taemin held his family close, looking out at the stars, and knew that the best was yet to come. And watching from his ship in the distance, Lord Vex knew that everything had changed forever. Lord Vex arrived, his face pale when he saw what had happened. He looked at Princess Yuri with something that might have been fear. The galaxy was changing, and everyone knew it. The simple act of one human saving one alien had started something that could not be stopped. But not everyone was happy about what had happened. Lord Vex grew colder and more distant. Taemin sometimes caught the Velan advisor watching him with hatred in his black eyes. And from beyond the station, word came that several powerful factions were very interested in human blood and what it could do. Taemin had saved one life, but he was starting to realize that his simple act of compassion might have changed the entire galaxy, for better or worse.